Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Y&E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, let's make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share, like, and comment. And one thing we're talking about is the news that Sarah Reporter broke about Tinubu's Minister Wike. He allegedly bought a $2 million mansion in the US with the name of his wife and children's name. To be honest, at first looking at this, I don't really see what the problem is. I mean, if it's able to afford it, they should be able to buy it. What kind of jobs do they do to be able to afford a $2 million home? What kind of jobs do they have? Businesses do they run to be able to afford a $2 million home? It's not our job to count their money, but it's really important that as a government official, as people that are connected to the seat of power, they need to be accountable. They need to show interest in developing the country and not just investing their money outside the country. If you're benefiting from the country, then you need to invest money in the country. What do you think?
As a public office holders, I think it's our job to be watching their pocket. It's our job to make sure we are pocket watching them because, recently, is it the Ramsak, Ramfak came out and said they want to review the public office holders' salaries, political office holders' salary. The last time they reviewed it was 2008. And there is a whole lot of misreaction from Nigerians with regards to that. I think based on that, they said Nigerian president, his salary is about 1 million, I think 1 million or 1.5 million a month. So they want to increase it by 104%. A lot of people are saying, what do they really need this money for? Everything they can think of, especially almost all the political offices, almost everything they need for is provided by the government, by us, their welfare, their everything, their housing, their food, feeding, everything, their transportation, travel, everything is covered by Nigerians. So what else do they need money for? So in this case of Wike, if we want to go by that, how much is his salary? I think his salary is about 1 million ministers. Even as a governor, how much was his salary? So how is he able to afford a $2 million house? I think these are some of the things that we need to start interrogating. Recently, he had an interview with the Channels TV, Sheung Akimboloye. Sheung was asking him how he able to afford the Rolls Royce. Said that his father was a general manager. I think he was the manager or general manager to several companies. In my life, I have never seen one person be a general manager to so many companies at the same time. I have not seen it. The highest I've seen is one person being on board of several companies, but being a general manager of so many companies at a time, I have not seen that. So it shows you that these people cannot really account for how they make this money. We know that they make deals, they shake hands and stuff like that, but a minister, a serving minister, buying a house of $2 million, it speaks volume about the level of corruption in Nigeria. Although he's not the only one, he just happened to be caught. Adelabu, the minister of power, I think he recently did a housewarming. That house is probably not less than 1 billion naira. We know that these people, they just purely stealing from us. But all I'm asking is that they should take it easy. In my place, there's a saying that when there is sand, there's too much sand in the soup. Even a blind man will know that there is too much sand in the soup. So I think they should just take it easy and then, and then realize that the people are just watching them.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. But in the case of Wike, is held multiple public offices. I think he was a governor in the states. I don't know if he was a deputy governor, but I'm sure it was a chairman of a local government as well. Believe that's where it started. Yeah. So if you look at it, he's probably drawing multiple income from his retirement from being a previous office holders. I don't know how much it's is worth. I'm sure he's got multiple businesses as well. But it's just sad that they're not investing all this money in Nigeria. They're going outside of the country to invest the money in another man's land, and the people back home are not benefiting from it. And talking about the salary increases that they're they're talking about making effective. I mean, Tinubu has said it. His wife also said it. They're wealthy. They don't need Nigerians' money. So why would they want to approve an increase? They barely increase the minimum wage. They barely pay the youth corpers the money that they're entitled to. They're barely keeping their promises with the women's team. Promise them owns and $100,000, even though it's debatable that those gifts are a little too excessive. But they haven't kept their promises, and it's sad that the way they're running the country, from the executive to the local government chairman in each areas, they're not really thinking about the people a long time. If you focus on long time, they'll invest this money in their communities. They'll make sure that their communities are safe and people have jobs, people are able to feed. But imagine what $2 million would have done in an economy, maybe in a state's economy. So it's just sad that they're not getting their priorities right at all. And they're just focusing on living a flashy lifestyle. And I don't know how many times they visit the US. I don't know how long they stay in those homes. Maybe they're just buying it as an investment. Hopefully, these people can start to really think about the people and take this money and invest it back in Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, even if as a CEO, as a founder, if you found a company and you are not investing in your company, and rather than you investing in your company, you are investing in another company, you are buying another company's stock, it means that you don't believe this in your business or in your idea. So that you don't believe in your idea. So same thing applies to all these politicians. They will leave Nigeria, go to another country, invest in another country, like a Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo. He has a house in Texas. Wike is not the first person to do it. He's definitely not going to be the last person to do it. But all this is showing us is that these politicians do not believe in the country that they are enough to sacrifice for. They kill the men to get in power, but at the same time, the country they are thriving or they are killing and maiming to lead the people in. They don't believe in the country because if you believe in Nigeria, you will be investing in Nigeria. And my prayer today is that Trump should find a reason to bar them from coming to this country so that all these assets, they will lose it. That is my prayer. You made mention that Wike could easily save that money because he has held a lot of political positions. Yeah, he started as a local government chairman, Obiakpo local government chairman. Then he went ahead and became I think he was the SSG to Amechi. Then they moved into Abuja for minister. He became a minister of state for education under Jonathan. And then he became the governor. So regardless of how much he's making, Rolls Royce Cullinan is nothing less than $500,000-$600,000 in Nigeria. Yeah, you could get it for less, but in Nigeria, by the time you ship it, you clear it, you're probably looking at about $1 million. And then plus this $2 million, there is no way he's able to save it from his retirement. He has children, he has family that he runs. He has, other things that he attends to. So there is no way he could have actually saved this money from the multiple sources of incomes or multiple places that he's been drawing money. And the word on the street is that he has so many hotels in Port Harcourt. He has so many investments. But those investments, he don't have those investments before he became governor. So those investments came to be during his time as a governor and after his time as a governor. So we know how these people roll. But what I'm trying to say is that I will go back to that adage, that says when there is too much sand in the soup, even a blind man that don't see will know that there is just too much sand in the soup. So I think when they are stealing, when they are, moving money, they should just be careful. People are watching, people are seeing what they're doing. And it's just unfortunate that our youths are learning from them. Like I always say, everybody, typical Nigerian is just waiting for his turn. When it gets to my turn, I will do my own and nothing will happen. And that is why you see that TK is doing everything in his power to defend Tinubu, to support Tinubu to come back for second time so that he can continue with his loot. They're all fighting for their interest.
Of course, they're all fighting for their interest. And I'm sure they get gifts, whether legal gifts or illegal gifts. They get gifts from people needing contracts, people that contracts has been awarded to. So well, I'm sure they get some kickbacks. So maybe the accumulation of those, they can put it in businesses and legitimize themselves and improve their businesses to be able to make more money and invest overseas, right? Just think, if you have that kind of money, why don't you invest in a country? Like you said, if you're a business owner, you want to invest in your business and not in another man's business. Because if you do that, it means you don't believe in your own business. Leaders needs to change their perspective. The people in Nigeria needs to be holding them accountable too. But they've weaponized poverty, they've weaponized hunger. If you speak up, they cut you off. You're gonna be broke. You're not gonna be able to feed yourself. And if you've antagonized another party, it's gonna be difficult for you to go back to them and say, "Hey, my boss kicked me out because I accused him, or because I'm trying to be a good citizen by holding them accountable." So you're gonna lose both ways, and you're gonna be broke. You're not gonna be able to take care of yourself. So they say if you can't beat them, you join them.
During the
Yeah,
Yep.
I encourage people, don't join them. I know it's hard. It's easier said than done, but try to do your best to be a good citizen. At some point, all these people will leave the position of leadership whether they like it or not. And we need to start changing the mindset of people coming behind them to start looking for ways to make the lives of the people better and not just focus on their own interests.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it all. If you are somebody that believes in the Nigerian project, especially if you live in Nigeria, try as much as possible to invest in whatever you believe in the country you believe in. The country is your business. So your business is your idea. So if you believe in your idea, which is your country, invest in your idea. Do not go and invest in another man's idea. People will not take you serious. People will just think you're crazy. So the same thing applies to these politicians. If you don't believe in the country that you're leading, there is absolutely no reason for anybody to take you serious. If you move all around Africa, I think there is this man they call this president they call Ali Bongo. I can't remember the country that he's a president to. According to people, that man basically spent like 250 days in France, and the rest of the days, like 50 days or 60 days, he spent in his countries. Do not be like Ali Bongo. Do not spend more time abroad than you spend in a country that you lead in. Be a good citizen. If you have the opportunity to be in a position of leadership, please do not behave like Wike. Those people should never be the standard of leadership. Let us not make them as a benchmark for leadership. Do the right thing. I'm not going to tell you not to steal from the country, but don't steal to the level that even a blind man will know that you are stealing from the country. Let us know what you think. Do you think we can buy a house in the US for $2 million is a bad thing, or you think he's just trying to get a second citizenship for his children, for himself and his children? If you are in his position, would you do that or would you not? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for your support.